Hello, everybody. I'm Vlad Teodorescu, and I will be the moderator of this really exciting live AMA session we have prepared for today. Thank you for joining us. Our AI experts can't wait to dive into all your questions, and we hope they'll lead to some pretty interesting discussion topics. Let me start by introducing Teo Dimake, who is Minded.io's Director of Product Engineering. Teo's expertise covers both technology and business, crafting high-caliber apps and analytics solutions. Specializing in data analytics and AI, Teo remains at the forefront of technological innovation, being committed to shaping the future of this constantly evolving tech and AI-driven landscape. The other half of our Ask Me Anything About Enterprise AI session is none other than Joan Janice. John is an expert in AI and innovation with more than 18 years of experience, 8 in big data, and he has spent the last 8 years working in artificial intelligence. He has participated in the transformation of many leading companies in Spain, and Joan is also a professor at the EAE Business School, where he creates and delivers AI trainings for businesses. Now, without further ado, I'll let John start this live session. John, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Vlad. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm delighted to be able to share this session with all of you. Before going to the questions, I have prepared a very short introduction to give some highlights about how companies can access to AI in the market nowadays. Okay. So I'm going to go very over it as to allow the most time for the questions. The first way where companies, in which companies can access AI in terms of applying it to the company is through products that already have AI embedded in them, or in AI products that come like packaged, that you buy and you use, but you don't get to see what's inside of it. Okay, these so-called closed products usually come in software as a service, and they don't really. They're very cheap, or relatively cheap, and they have the problem that they don't really give you a competitive advantage because everybody can access to them as quickly and as easily as you do. So it's not that you should not do that, but you should. If you do that, you have to be aware of what are the implications. Lately, in the last months or last year, the no-code solutions have been growing in popularity. These are solutions that platforms that they come with pre-built models that you can play, and drag and drop. They are called no-code solutions because they are intended for small companies with no expert people, but they have a very red flag in them, which are the silent errors. Well, these are a little bit more expensive than the commodities than the previous one, but as they come like pre-built, you can drag and drop, and maybe what you design will give you some answers. So it will not fail, it will not launch an error. But the answer, the prediction that the system is doing might be wrong, very wrong, and you will never know it if you are no expert. That is what we call silent errors, that may be related to things that I'm not going to go into it, but just for you to have some, to ring a bell, overfitting, underfitting, or similar, or data leakage, which is when you use information that you already know to predict the future, but in the real scenario, then you will not know it. So you're like tricking yourself. So they're tricky, and they're also easy to access. So they don't give a competitive advantage either. But there are two options that are maybe a little bit more expensive, but have much better return and much better benefits. The first one is the use case-based AI. This is when companies, when you think, okay, what do you know? What do you do? And they tell you, or we tell you, okay, we know we can do this that we have done before, and here is the downfall. It's not innovative because somebody has done that before. So you are not going to be a leader, but you are going to be a follower, which sometimes is good enough. Okay, so the good thing about this is that the risk is lower because you have there is proof that it has worked before. Okay, the cost is higher than the previous two, obviously, but not as high as the last option. The last option is the issue-based AI, which is when you start at the best way possible, at the worst way possible, which is looking at your company, at the things that you do best, the problems you are facing, and the needs that you expect to have in the future. When you focus on these 3 points, and you combine a team of business people and AI experts together, they come up with ideas that are specific for your business, that give you a very sharp competitive edge, that have the DNA, Spanish, the DNA of your company embedded in it, and therefore it's almost impossible to replicate by your competence or by your competitors, and has the best return when it works. Obviously, the risk is higher; it might not work, but this is not bad. But let's leave that for another discussion. The main conclusion here of this small introduction is that maybe the best starting point in terms of risk and cost is the use case-based AI. And I'm going to hand over the word to Theo, that he will walk you through a demo of one example. Right, Theo?
Indeed. Thank you very much, Joan. Very interesting stuff for sure. It will keep a lot of us occupied into what kind of AI investments you want to make. It's really insightful to segment basically these things as Joan just did. Thank you, Joan. I'm going to share with you a small use case that we recently implemented, which we call internally "Chat with Your Data." So it's basically you can think about it as a GPT-like chatbot powered by AI, large language models, which is adjusted and tuned to work with proprietary data. So usually information that's not publicly accessible, and it can be retrofitted to work in various scenarios. One of these scenarios that I'm about to show you right now, it's being used as a chatbot for a particular event website, where basically users can interact with, and they can ask questions about the event. Yeah, let me show you how this works. This is our full chat interface, and as I can ask questions like, what is the event about? Remember, this is a physical event. Sorry about that. Okay, let's try this one. Okay, maybe it was a wrong chatbot. We have many environments here. What is this event about? Okay, so it's generating the answer. What it's doing right now, it has a behind the scenes, it has a search index, which is searching. We have what we call chunks of information previously indexed within that search index. We're retrieving, following the retrieval augmented generation pattern, we're retrieving a bunch of results. We're feeding it into the context of the large language model. And now the large language model enhances its answer basically with the extra context information that it has. For instance, it now answered what the event is about. It's about the Swiss electricity industry. It also gives me a citation that enables me to just quickly go to that particular website page if I wanted to. I can even proceed and continue my conversation with the chatbot by asking more questions. Is there after party? And again, it's looking through its internal knowledge base, feeding the LLM with the right context information. And as you can see here, it will answer that, yes, there is an after party. And it will point me with a citation to the page, which has a lot more details and maybe pictures regarding that particular after side event. Okay, so going back here, I will also show you the embeddable chatbot version. This was a full page chatbot, but usually what we're talking about and what some of our customers want is something that's embeddable quickly on a website's page, as you see here. It could be on the lower right-hand screen. You can click and expand it. You can interact with it as we did previously. And you can continue to ask questions about it. We also collect the feedback from the users that interact with these chatbots. We have these, as you will see here, a thumbs up or thumbs down that you can give to basically give feedback back to us regarding the usefulness of the answer. So this helps us to enhance the chatbot going further. So yeah, this was one of the demos that we've had for you. We have others, and we have another one that we want to show you today, but in the interest of time, we chose not to. It's in the demand forecasting spectrum. It's very interesting demo to see. But yeah, if you're interested in that, please leave a comment in the chat, and we might have another session to look into that and demo that as well.
Thank you very much, Theo.
Yeah, one thing to add. Sorry, just Vlad. One thing to add, I forgot to add the fact that these kind of chatbots can be retrofitted really to any kind of use case, even internal chatbots for the company. We've seen several of our customers inquire into how they can embed these kind of interfaces, GPT-like interfaces, or by embedding their private data. And this is what I want to emphasize, and I missed doing so earlier. This is a private, behind the scenes is a private instance of GPT models. They're not your data basically that you use in Index is not used to train these models. Your data stays private, stays behind the firewall, and is protected. And this enables you basically to enhance these kind of chatbots with your own data, and yeah, answer business questions that are proprietary. Yeah, just wanted to add that. Thank you. Back to you, Vlad.
Thank you, Theo. In the meantime, if you have any questions, even regarding the demo or anything enterprise AI related, please leave them in the chat. And we will start with the questions we have received in advance. We will cover them one by one, but if live questions pop up, we'll cover them with priority just to make everything more dynamic. So let us start with the first question. How can AI be leveraged to optimize inventory management in retail, especially in handling sudden shifts in consumer demand? Theo, would you like to take the first question?
Yes, sure. That's an interesting question. So consumer demand. This is actually touches a bit on what I said earlier, the other demo we wanted to make for you, demand forecasting. Why? Because really, AI can significantly optimize inventory management, especially when dealing with sudden shifts, by leveraging demand forecasting. AI models can be trained to analyze historical sales data. They can be trained by analyzing market trends and other external factors like seasonality, economic indicators, or even social media trends, analyzing sentiment analysis. Anything can lead to predicting future demand with a higher accuracy. It can also be used to implement the real-time inventory monitoring, or dynamic pricing. I actually recently had a conversation with a potential customer about dynamic pricing or automatic replenishment, right? You can analyze the sales patterns, triggering orders for restocking. You reduce risks when it comes to stockouts or overstocking. Now, that's kind of how I see AI being used in this particular scenario.
If I may add something, Theo.
Sure, please, John.
The beautiful thing about the world of demand in retail or any other sector is that the technology, the AI technology that is currently available allows for an approach very iterative, which means that you can start by very small steps, such as predicting maybe the price flexibility, a stock, an approximation to the demand, and very simple with very simple input data, and iteratively go making making this model more and more complex with different models and submodels working together to be much more precise every time. And this is something which is very important. Sometimes some clients have the feeling that this is very expensive. Oh, AI, this is going to be very expensive. I have to have a budget that I don't really have. And that's actually not true. You can start the first steps, baby steps, with very, very reasonable budgets, with very limited approaches, and then grow on these approaches iteratively. This is one of the great features of this technology that other technologies, such as closed products as SAP or Salesforce, will never have, because or you go for them or not, and they are expensive. But in this case, you can think, okay, what's the minimum thing that will give me value? And go for it. And once you realize that it really works, then how can I improve it? And with your team of experts, go ahead with that. Don't you think, Theo?
Yeah, I fully agreed, John, and a very, very good addition. Yeah, you can incrementally add features to these kind of models, or as John said, secondary models. Very true. Back to you, Vlad. Do we have any other questions?
The next one is about predictive maintenance, and I'll start with Joan this time. Can you share a case study where AI significantly reduced downtime in manufacturing by predicting equipment failures, Joan? I know you're a fan of analogies, so if you have anything to share, we would love that.
Yes, this is a world where actually there is a lot of use cases where you can make a difference in terms of quality and maintenance, both in the production process or even in the post sales service. For instance, one use case that recently I was discussing with one of clients that I work with, were interested in, they built these air curtains that create a separate environment between the outside of stores and the inside of stores, okay? By throwing a strong curtain of wind, right? Of air. And one of the great problems that this machinery has is that the maintenance is very complex. So they are considering adding IoT sensors in the machines that can give them remotely information about the vibrations and about the working parameters of every machine of their clients, and anticipate any failure that they may have. In terms that preventing an error, it's always cheaper to address than having to fix it, okay? And this also can give them information much before there is an error, because if the vibrations are because of a bad installation, the only way to correct it is to reinstall it or to change the environment. Also, these kind of measurements can be done through the manufacturing process. For instance, when in the quality processes, there is this use case, is quite old. A very famous plane manufacturer from the United States had a computer vision camera pointing to the belt that was creating the plastic for the tires, okay, of the planes. And with visual inspection, they could detect any problem with the tire before it was even turned into a tire, because this is very, I don't know the word in English now. It's caucho in Spanish. Sorry. This material that they use for the tires, it has to be very specific in terms of consistency of the graph that it paints, and how deep is the graph, because you have to prevent aquaplaning. You have to make sure that it stands the weight of the plane. So it's very, very important task to make sure that the quality is right enough. And they solve this with computer vision and a camera pointing to it.
Yeah, I agree, Joan. Very good call out. This, I think, if I may add one thing, is this, as you've said, but also want to strengthen that, really, this relies on collecting and analyzing data, especially in real time. I mean, collecting vast amounts of data, like temperature, vibration, pressure, all kinds of parameters, right?
Yes, sometimes it's very, very good comments, Theo, because sometimes the companies do already collect this data. And therefore, you just create value from something that you're storing and you are spending money on.
You already have it, yeah.
Something that you have there in a database, you put it into savings or quality, or happier customers.
Mhm.
And I often hear the fear from the client say, oh, I'm not collecting data. I am so far from AI. And this is something, a wrong idea that people get with AI, that you need, data is paramount. You need data
Mhm.
because data is the main raw material. But the thing is that it's possible to start AI without a lot of data. You don't need millions of data. There are models that start working with 50,000 points.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
you just need to know what you want to get. And sometimes the best option is to start at the same time that you are starting gathering data, because data will impact your models, but also the models and the business needs will impact the data that you need and how you store it.
Mhm.
If you have a lot of data, but the format, the quality, or the frequency are not the good ones, it's like you don't have any data and you have to start again anyway. So don't think that you first you need millions of data to begin with AI. Do
Yeah.
it at the same time, because there is a retroalimentation, a feedback loop between both concepts. Don't you think, Theo?
Agreed. And especially that's true with more recent models and recent advancements in this area. Yeah, fully agreed. All right, Vlad.
Thank you, John and Theo. The next question is an interesting one. It's about the AI in healthcare. So,
Okay.
how are AI algorithms improving diagnostic accuracy in healthcare, and what challenges are faced in integrating them with existing systems? Theo, would you like to start here?
Okay, so let me see how does it improve diagnostic accuracy and challenges when integrating them? Okay. So yeah, healthcare has a lot to benefit in my mind from AI, especially in the area of enhancing diagnostic accuracy, doing maybe things that were previously difficult or even impossible. I think paramount to this is leveraging computer vision to enable enhanced medical imaging analysis. Things like radiology, ADI models, particularly those based on deep learning, have shown a lot of potential and accuracy in analyzing medical images like X-rays or MRIs or CT scans. And these algorithms can detect subtle changes and patterns indicative of diseases, even like cancer or fractures and other anomalies. And they can do that a lot faster than human radiologists, and with, let's say, higher trust or a bigger accuracy. And also, I think tissue analysis is another thing that it can do. Like AI tools can analyze tissue samples to detect these, cancer cells or other anomalies. It can also help with genetic profiling. It can process and analyze a lot of genomic data to identify mutations or genetic markers linked to specific diseases. Yeah, I think there's a lot of, but I think computer imagery is paramount to healthcare and has a lot of potential in doing so. Don't you agree, John? What do you think?
Yes, there is a very high rate of investment of AI in all the healthcare areas, from creating new drugs with generative AI by applying applying to the properties of each configuration of chemical compounds. You can say, okay, this chemical compound has these attributes, this has these attributes. So there is a correlation between the structure and the benefits. So it creates new compounds that are feasible chemically and that can have some of the benefits that you already have. And that allows for a quicker, faster creation of new drugs. But for me, I think that one of the use cases that we will see sooner and will impact more all of us in the healthcare environment is related to the chat with your data demo that Theo has shown you, which is to help the people, the doctors that have to see hundreds and thousands of patients, to be able to be more patient-centric and less administrative-centric. Doctors, when they have you, when they see a patient, they need to create a report of what of the interaction, what is the history of the patient that is relevant for that case, what is the patient saying, and what are they going to do next. This implies that they have to look at the computer a long time. And the feeling of the interaction with the patient resents from that. What some people are working in, and I'm involved in those ideas, is to use ChatGPT and text-to-speech and speech-to-text to drastically reduce the time the doctor needs to write that down and create the report.
Yeah.
So if you have a computer that is listening to what's happening, that has access to the records and can bring the history, summarize it, only what's relevant for your case, or both things, everything but highlighting what's relevant, because something might not be relevant but be relevant after that. And also, you can say, okay, that is the treatment that we are going to follow, or that is the roadmap that we're going to follow with this patient, and the computer writes it down. Then the experience of the interaction with the client will be drastically much better. And I know of at least 2 people that are researching and that are working in that direction. So it's another idea of how AI may disrupt the world of healthcare.
Very interesting, Joan. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. Thank you, Theo. I would like to remind everybody, you can leave the questions in the chat. So
really anything.
Yeah, you can ask them about what zodiac sign they have. They'll answer it, and maybe they have some predictive AI for astrology. But until those really cool questions pop up, we have another one. Is how can AI-driven chatbots enhance customer service in a large enterprise without compromising the human touch?
All right.
Joan or Theo, who would like to take the floor?
I can go if you want. Or you, Theo, it's okay for me.
It's fine. You know? I'll add at the end.
Okay, Joan, you can start. It's on you.
I think that the first thing that we need to understand is that there is a difference between a chatbot and a virtual assistant. Okay, this is something that I advocate for a long time, and it's confusing, and it's confusing the people that are not in the technical side of the world. Okay, a chatbot is what we use that term to refer to is something which is very robotic. Okay, it's a bot that chats. This means that there is no smartness, there is no intelligence there. Okay, it just you have a sales bot. I want to create an order. Which order? Which items? 1, 2, 3. Okay, insert your credit card always. Okay, now the address of the delivery address. Okay, now, and very, very close-minded, step by step, with no out of the box thinking, no casual conversation, just robotic. Let's do this ABC. When we talk about more intelligent interfaces, which every day are more human, we use the term assistant, virtual assistant or digital assistant. Because the first idea is that it's somebody that is going to, in the most human-like way, to assist you with something.
Yeah, I like that.
Only automate a process that just that you already knew how to do, because we all buy in Amazon without any bot selling, telling us the steps to follow. That is very intuitive. That doesn't really add value. But to be able to create an intelligence, artificial intelligence, that with a scope and some protection for to avoid problematic answers, creates a very different world scenario where you get a very, very, very savvy, knowledgeable, with almost all the knowledge you want it to have, 24/7, helping your clients, your employees, or your potential clients. And I think this distinction and the levels that this can go, the depth that it can go, it's very important, because you can go from just solving frequent questions to going transactional, which is for instance, resetting the password of the internet or your account in the company, to saying, okay, I have an incident open, how is it going? So with your ID, it will find your incident. It will end with that thing. I want to know what's happening with incident 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't have to remember your name, the ticket. You just have to say, tell me how it's going on, the things that I have open, and the system automatically connects to the Salesforce and sees what did you open in the last 3, 4 tickets and their status, and it answers. From for your company employees, it can be like a colleague, like a personal assistant,
a very helpful colleague.
There is 3 items in your inbox, in your process inbox, that you need to review in order for the production to start. So, that's important. That's money. I'm going to look at that on priority. And this is a pop-up, like in Teams, somebody that contacts you, or Slack, So this is a very powerful tool, and it can have a lot of ideas to transform the way you communicate with your teams, with your clients, with your prospective clients.
Yeah, that's a very good point, especially that it enables basic 24/7 operation. You don't have to have entire teams, and you don't have to wait in a queue to get answers. And I guess the human touch element, because that was also part of the question, can be enabled by personalization, right? Leveraging customer data, previous interactions, or purchase history or preferences to personalize the response, to make it less robotic. And also, of course, a hybrid approach where chatbots, quickly get some information, but then seamlessly hand you over to a real person for more complex or sensitive issues. And even if regarding sensitive issues, I want to highlight one important point that we took care of even in the chatbot demo that I just showed you, where we masked personally identifiable information when storing the conversation history. We don't want to store names or addresses or whatever. We want basically to know what kind of questions the people ask, and if they're satisfied with their answer. We don't want, and there are very, very advanced ways to take care and to protect their privacy.
Also, these kind of solutions also have like collateral damage or collateral benefits, if you allow me, which is that, for instance, I have worked, as a matter of fact, implementing these kind of solutions in very important companies in Spain. My first project, as a matter of fact, was to create a very big virtual assistants for all the clerks of the second bank or the third bank in Spain. And one of the things that we discovered in that project is that there was a collateral benefit that we were not expecting, but it realized, which is that the bank suddenly knew what were the real struggles of the clients. Okay. Because sometimes, most of the times, you can have an idea of how or why the people call, but you don't know what the people don't call and ask their colleagues. With these solutions, they usually discover that it's easier to talk with this assistant than to disturb a colleague or call a technical, and they start using it massively. But you not only uncover the most popular issues that used to make them call, but you also discover other hidden issues that were there, but you didn't know about them, and you can solve them and make your teams happier and more productive.
Thank you, John. The first questions popped up in our live chat. Now that you mentioned the word process, what are the main add-ons you'd suggest to use AI and Gen AI with business process management? Thank you, Juan, for your question.
All right. So business process management. We're all looking into that, and we have several customers looking and interested in business process management and how it can optimize, enhance the efficiency, automate various business processes within the company, because at the end of the day, that's what the company does, right? It has lots of business processes, and the larger the company, the more they have, and the lengthier they get. I guess in some cases you can leverage things like RPA, robotic process automation, but AI-powered RPA is one thing that can be leveraged. AI can integrate with RPA to automate, let's say, more complex tasks that go beyond like a simple rule-based process. Because why? Because AI can handle, exceptions, outliers. It can make decisions maybe based on historical data, and it can even learn from new data over time. It can help with automatic invoice processing or customer onboarding. It can help you enter data. It can help you run compliance checks, especially if you work in a heavily regulated industry. It can process even legislations that have been passed and what the impact of these legislations are within your company and within your internal company policies. Beyond that, I think a lot of the business processes that companies have revolve around documents, right? They're inescapable. We rely less and less on physical documents, but still they're there. And AI-powered OCR, optical character recognition, can be used to extract and process data from these kinds of unstructured documents, like maybe contracts or invoices or even emails. And generative AI can then assist in understanding the context and summarizing it and automating maybe data entry into other business process management systems. So any kind of automation of document-heavy workflows can really benefit from AI. I guess there are many others. I think decision support systems. I see you can integrate AI to support decisions within a business process by analyzing the data, providing recommendations. Can even do simulations. Maybe suggest optimal process paths that can be taken. It can even go further than that and even automate decision making. Maybe for more routine decisions at first, of course. AI can even take over completely, right? Some of these decisions, enabling faster processes and leaving the real people to do more complex stuff that really requires human intervention. Yeah, lots of I think it's a very open-ended question. We can talk, I think, for hours.
Yes,
regarding.
I think it's a very wide question. By the way, Juan Ramon, it's nice to see you. I worked with him a long time ago for some time. We were at the same company. I haven't seen him for maybe 3 years. So I'm happy to see you connected here, Juan Ramon. The thing about processes is that you know it because he's an expert on process on business project management. So among other things, so I understand the question perfectly. Is that the world of process is very wide, and as Theo really in a very excellent way has done a high level highlight of many areas where AI can be of value in the world of process management. What I would advise always is, and linking to my introduction, to work in an issue-based approach in this case, because apart from the automation, which is something which is very trivial, the real digital revolution or transformation is not doing the same with AI, is to doing things now with AI that before were not possible to do. That is the revolution. And for this, it's important to understand the process, to map it, to see the strengths and the weaknesses of the process, and see what are the struggles of the people working the process, because the process is something that can be more or less automated, more or less digitalized, but always there are people behind that. Receiving the output, putting the input, or just monitoring that everything goes well. So in that way, you can go from very simple analytics and prediction of what's happening and early detect when a problem will come up. If everything runs smoothly, these are the parameters. If one parameter becomes too high or too low, then maybe it's not a problem now, but you will have a problem soon, and you can prevent the problem from happening before. And this can go into dashboard with some indicators of what's going on in the thousands of processes that may be in a company. That's an example. That another one that I would value in this world, apart from the automations, because the automations is like the obvious one. The second one is, as I told you, go further. Let's review the process in a smarter way, in a AI native approach, and think that humans only do the things that are really motivating. It's not motivating to
read the document and enter the data in.
Open an invoice, look for the data, and type the data in this Excel or in this system. That is not motivating. Leave that to an AI, to the computers. Let's do the things that make us feel happier and make us enjoy our work.
Yeah.
For us and for our employees, if we have a team of people.
Very well put, Joan. Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks, Joan. We have another question from Hernan. Do you recommend any tool to do gen and predictive AI at the same time? Joan, would you like to start, or Theo? Joan, you can start because you were on a roll. So
it's okay. It's not a problem. Can you repeat the question, please? I was reading the greetings of Juan Ramon in the chat. Sorry.
Do you recommend any tool to do gen and predictive AI at the same time?
Every day I'm reading at least 2 articles regarding tools. What my experience has taught me in the world of IT, not AI, not data, IT, is that there are no better tools or worse tools. There are better fitted tools and less fitted tools. Okay, so I'm not a person given to recommend a particular tool. Today, I would recommend you to call Mindit.io and have a very detailed discussion about what is your issue, why do you need to do generative AI and the prediction together, okay? see, because sometimes maybe you can connect to tools that are very good together instead of just one tool, and that gives you better results and more flexibility with open architectures such as microservices architectures and APIs, and you can get the most of that. Or maybe you have a very specific need, and what you need to do is analytical research of what is currently available in the market. Because also every day I read at least 3 articles about new products that come up. Startups, big companies creating products to copy startups, individuals that are crazy and give products for free, but they are very good. Crazy because I won't build for them, but that's their choice. I'm not criticizing. Crazy in a good way. Don't misunderstand me. So this is something that every time I hear somebody that tells Claude is better than ChatGPT, this is better than that, I'm very skeptical. Better for who, when, in what context? I am very analytical person, and everything that is not analytic is just marketing. That's my my take on this. I'm sorry because I'm not answering your question, but at least I given you the reason why. Maybe Theo, you are more politically correct regarding this.
While I agree with you, like, and even I'll highlight the fact that we're not a product company. We don't sell an actual product. We do have, let's say, solution accelerators that can get you started quickly, like the chatbot that I showed you earlier. So you don't have to build it from scratch. But usually what we do, we assess the situation, like John just said. We really talk to our customers, really find out what's the issue is. It can even be that the recommendation at the end would be to buy something here. Buy this off the shelf. It will do what you want really well. Or we can at the end say, no, nothing, there's nothing out there, let's build something together. But I do have, maybe, if I interpret the question correctly, so it can do AI, but also Gen AI together. There are some, so the top players like Microsoft, Google, and Amazon are really working towards that end, to really create a platform where you can basically handle the entire life cycle of an AI project, Gen AI or more traditional AI. Microsoft has its Azure AI Studio, for instance, which you should check out. Really powerful. I don't know if it exited beta, because in the past it was used to call Azure ML Studio. Now it's called Azure AI Studio, and it's being enhanced. I don't know if it's out of beta or not. Google has its own cloud platform, like Vertex AI, if I'm not mistaken. Amazon has Bedrock, if I'm not mistaken, and maybe several others inside the Amazon Web Services offering. Yeah, I think there are platforms which strive to be AI agnostic and offer everything, everything related to AI, because really AI projects have a certain life cycle to them that is very different from the traditional software development.
But if you allow me to give some nuance to what you say, Theo, these platforms, as a matter of fact, they are cloud platforms that allow you on demand to select which services you get, but they are not one solution providing the both things.
Oh yeah.
There are different solutions that you can plug and play together.
It's like a toolbox.
It's like a sandbox, yes, a toolbox that comes with a lot of pre-built helping stuff, such as MLOps, such as different environments for the developers and or for the setup and for the production environment where it actually is works. And but this is not that there is one solution doing everything. Okay. And at this time, there is something that is important to understand. Everything which is Gen AI usually has a very, very expensive cost. And for that reason, or everything or most of the Gen AI has a lot of computing cost. For that reason, currently is almost only available in service, software as a service. Okay. You always need to connect to another platform. In the other kind of AIs, you can choose if you have it cloud, you have it software as a service, you use the platforms that Theo is mentioning, or you have it on your computer or in a on-premise environment.
Yeah.
But there are some services that are so expensive that you only can access them via software as a service. And that is something that you have to bear in mind. Okay.
Yeah.
I think even if you try to do an LLM on premise, which is possible, there are some open source LLMs. They are not as powerful, as efficient, and you have to understand that it will have a cost, a computing cost of training.
Yeah.
So it's not. The thing is, one of the messages that for me it's important for you to take from this session is. There is a lot of people talking about AI, okay? There is a lot of people trying to sell AI, but not everything is the same AI. There are a lot of AIs. That is what, in my introduction, I tried to convey to you. And it's always a good idea to have some expert assessment before you embark in the journey, because the marketers will try to sell you what they want to sell you. And they will sugarcoat the message, so it's sweeter to your taste, but then you have to look out for your blood pressure, your blood sugar. Sorry.
And I just remembered another one, especially because we've recently become Databricks partners, and they have a more recent offering called Mosaic AI. You should also look into that. It really can also it has the power to combine and to do both, you know, traditional AI and Gen AI types of projects, and especially if it's worth it if you're already invested, for instance, in Databricks. But seeing the continuation to the problem, to the question, thinking more of something low, no code. So you're starting to try DataRobot. I've heard of DataRobot, I haven't tried it personally. But there are others, like Mosaic AI, which is, I don't think it's low code. I think it's really high in code. But Azure AI Studio is, if I remember correctly, when it was named ML Studio, but I think it also applies to AI Studio, has a more low code approach where you connect certain boxes and you define an inference pipeline, you define a training pipeline by using connectors and low code pipelines, pipeline development.
The big four have that. Azure, Amazon, Google, and IBM. Those four have in the cloud. In the AI Studio, they have pre-built models that you just drop the box, and some of them have more models than the others. That is the main difference. But they have this quick way. But as I said in the introduction, watch out for the silent errors, because they are a very high risk. There are others. Most of the solutions regarding AI that in a platform approach, all of them offer some out of the box pre-trained models that you have only to set up and adjust. I have heard also of Databricks and Cloudera, apart from the ones that have been said.
Okay.
But
so we're running out of time, and we only have one question left, which was submitted in advance. But if you leave your questions in the chat, we'll handle them afterwards. We'll also leave a feedback link here. It takes less than 60 seconds to complete, and we would really appreciate it. So please fill in the link we will leave in the chat. And the last questions we have is about AI in financial services. Can you provide an example of how AI has been used to detect fraud in real time and what impact it has had on operational efficiency? Theo, you may take the mic and make it as short as possible without skipping any of the essentials.
All right. So fraud detection, yeah, that's a big one, and a lot of companies are looking into that fraud detection using AI. And actually, more recently, we've discussed with one potential customer regarding this type of fraud detection when it comes to claims management. So submitting claims to get the money from an insurance and analyzing these claims. Usually, they end up, you end up spending anywhere from 2 days to 4 weeks analyzing these claims by a person. And yeah, it's really inefficient. AI can really speed up this process of analyzing it from hours to minutes, really. And it can even spot claims that are, that have fraud as their intent. I guess a big player that has done this is PayPal. PayPal has used successfully AI for real-time fraud detection. Remember, they handle millions of transactions every day across the globe. So it's a prime for targeting fraudulent activities, such as account takeovers or money laundering or any other activity. So to protect its users, PayPal needed an efficient way to do it, and they implemented an advanced AI and machine learning algorithms to enhance its fraud detection capabilities.
The main idea behind this is quite simple, and I like to explain it very fast, with Vlad's permission. Which
1
is
minute,
that,
of course. Anything is possible in 1 minute.
AI is very good at learning from a lot of amounts of data. So the banking, the financial world is one of the environments with more data, because everything has to be controlled because of safety, because of guaranteeing an error-free environment. So they were monitoring and storing all the transactions. Everything that happens in the world of finance is stored everywhere, somewhere. So with the information, the easy thing, one of the easiest things that does the AI is to detect patterns. And the important thing is not the patterns that are all right, it's the weird patterns.
Yeah, the
what
outliers.
we call outliers. So what you do is you train with all data. This is a normal working. You see, this we had human people detected this as a fraud and was confirmed to be a fraud. So this is an outlier. From this, every time something happens out of the ordinary, the AI detects that pattern, that anomaly, and raises a flag so a human can watch that to confirm if it is an anomaly or not. And this basic principle is the one that is leveraged by most of these solutions, right, Theo?
Yes, very, very true, John. Thank you for the addition. Yeah.
Right on time, Joan. Thank you very much, Theo. Thank you very much, Joan. Thank you, everyone who attended. And we hope to see you at our next live sessions and webinars. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you once again. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.